I'm sure making some ants happy. They're glad I put this hole in this birch tree. It sure is leaking. I'm gonna look a little more into this, but I've heard that, generally people I think plug the birch holes because, I don't know, maybe there's multiple reasons, but I've heard something like birch trees do not heal as readily from the tapping process as sugar maples and red maples. I'm showing you up in the branches just because well, you can see it's a birch by the way that it is. Obviously a paper birch. Now I think I just got dumb beginner's luck here and tapped this tree at just a fantastic, just the right time. It's April 23rd today. I tapped this a little over a week ago, and it seems like after about 3 days it just started pretty much gushing, and it drips all night too. The temperatures, yesterday it got up to 60 during the day. It was a really nice warm day, and today it's supposed to do the same thing. Just beautiful. I think I just got dumb luck. Yeah, I've been collecting quite a bit of sap. I've come out here and it usually will fill this jug up 3 or 4 times a day. Yesterday I think it filled it up 3 times total. And I had a batch going and I burnt it. But got a second batch going and I almost burnt it this morning, but I caught it right as it was kind of sputtering and spitting. Almost all the water was evaporated and it's almost like a caramel consistency. Not sure exactly what I'm doing yet with this reduced birch sap, birch syrup, but the flavor is really interesting, and it is just fun to forage in this way. It is sure is a form of foraging, I would say. We're kind of on the edge of a little, I believe this is a somewhat man-made little gully, cliffside kind of thing here, ravine. Part of this property was excavated back in the day for gravel. I can smell birch syrup, I feel like. I guess the perfume is wafting from the barn, even though I have the heat turned off. At least I hope I do. But I'm just right across the way, and I've always seen this paper birch here, so when I thought about... Now, can you tell the difference here? It's kind of... This is a great example of paper birch right next to some aspens, some poplars. I think these are quaking. Populus tremuloides. But none of these are birches. These ones are all... These are aspens. You can tell by the way they are. This is really... I think... I haven't gone close enough. No, I think back there too, the really white tree, I think even those are poplars. This is the only birch right here in this immediate area. And all those white trees, those are all aspens. I'm using aspen and poplar interchangeably. Common names, you know. The goats are chilling out. It's about 9:30 in the morning. The sun is shining. It's wonderful. Franny's chilling too over there. Okay, back to the computer. Here's sort of the birch caramel that has been created mostly on accident. I caught it right before it would have burned. You can see though, yeah, it did not burn. It's deep golden. Maybe the sunlight's too intense. Well, I'm going to try to get it all in the sunlight. Impossible. That's where I scraped in the middle there. I scraped it with a spatula, came right off, and I wadded it up into a little ball. It wasn't very sticky. Let's see what it's like now that it's cooled more. A little thicker. Wow. Wow. Ain't that cool? It has a slight, almost oiliness on the outside. But I'll tell you, this is like... Okay. What I did the first time was I took a little salt, because it's got a bitterness to it. And I thought, I know salt can kind of cut bitterness. Sort of like a sea salt caramel. Yes, I say caramel and caramel. Why not have fun? I'm gonna pop it. Whoa, right off the bat. It's kind of a sweetness right off the bat. I'm not getting any bitter. It has a richness. There's like, almost like it tastes like a reduced apple or fruit concentrate. I mean, that's it, right? I was reading on Wikipedia that what makes birch sap particularly different from maple, it has a much lower sugar content, and what sugar is there, I guess, is fructose as opposed to sucrose. And so it kind of makes sense why I'm saying tastes more like fruit, reduced fruit sugars, as opposed to maple syrup tastes like straight up candy. And there you go, right? I mean, sucrose versus fructose. And wow. You know, I didn't get any bitter on that one. Almost when I added salt, I felt like I was experiencing more bitterness. Maybe I scraped a section that had been a little more burnt. I don't know. Maybe a section in there or a little spot did have a little more black in it. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to scrape this up and start again on a new batch or what, but I might, because this caramel is pretty amazing. Really interesting. Happy accident. All right. Beautiful day. Check on the greens real quick. I want to tilt them towards the sun. Hello, baby lettuce. Beets. Little cute cilantro. And cabbage. Peas doing well. Just tilt them. This works well like that. Okay. Catch you later. Does it have a heartbeat? This is kind of funny. It's midday and this thing has slowed down considerably. I'd think it would be gushing right now. It's just a beautiful sunny day, midday, and it's like not even dripping. Mind you, I emptied it out this morning and put it back on. That was at about 8 a.m. and now it's 12:30. So it produced this nearly a full bottle in the morning time. And it was dripping all night. So I don't know. Interesting. Well, I'll take this. Okay, this is interesting. Right as I kind of took the weight off of this bottle, it started dripping again. So I guess the weight of the bottle was choking out the hole or something. I think that's a squirrel. Going bonkers. I just grabbed this bottle off the tree. And can you see how it's looking a tinge cloudy? Not exactly sure what that's about. I've taken a sip off the top and it tastes pretty nice. I think I'm going to add it to the pot and I might be done soon. I'm looking up at the buds of the birch tree and they're looking a little swollen. I'm kind of going off the rules of maple, which I think, there's something to. You don't want the syrup will become bitter as the buds open or something. Might not even be true with birch, but I've been having fun, and I think I'm ready to be done boiling sap on the stove. It's been 2 weeks now. It's intermittent. I don't have that thing roar and boil all the time by any means. I learned my lesson there. A watched pot never burns. Let's put it that way. Hi. I got a GoPro today, but it's hooked up to the computer right now, charging. I want to treat the battery well, so I'm letting it get to a full charge, but I'm antsy because it's a beautiful evening after we've had kind of 2 days or so of... that's exaggeration. It's Wednesday today, and Tuesday was rainy all day yesterday, and then this morning and into the early afternoon was kind of cloudy and very windy, but not rainy, and the sun came out to play for the rest of the afternoon, so it's just been beautiful. I think I'll let these guys continue to munch, and I'm gonna try to just run inside and see what happens. Good morning. I'm in process of filtering the reduced birch sap. It's not syrupy, and I don't know if it's supposed to become syrupy like maple syrup, but it is rich in flavor and has a subtle sweetness. I'm filtering it through a coffee filter, a paper filter. There's quite a bit of sand in there, sediment. I said sand because I've heard that used with maple syrup, the maple sands. And this batch, unlike the other one, never got reduced to the point of, being so sticky in the bottom kind of thing. So hopefully this can go a little bit longer. And so I wanted to get it out of the bigger pan, filter it, and then just do the last little bit very gently. So I'll show that once I get it all filtered. Cut most of the sediment and stuff, the solids. Got out a second coffee filter. This one kind of was no longer draining. Let's consolidate those and get maybe a little sunlight in here. Whoa, high contrast. Whoa. Okay, we'll put it on the stove. There, can you see the beauty? Wow. The coppery color kind of reminds me of the underside of paper birch bark. Maybe somewhat similar minerals in there, huh? Okay, we'll get this very gentle heat. I'm gonna want to try to reduce that just a little bit more. Would really stink to burn it at this point, so I'm gonna be right here cleaning and tending to it, and we'll see how she reduces. The reduction is becoming thicker. I just turned the heat off. I'm turning it back on this to show what I was observing with the bubblage. I've only done maple syrup like this once before. This is birch syrup. You know that. We're in the middle of this. But I'm comparing it to maple, of course, since that seems to be the closest thing that I know some little smidgen about. And look, as those bubbles come through, look at that. Look at the bubble formation and how it's staying. It's usually a good sign that you're getting to a kind of syrupy consistency. Right? Look at that. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. So I'm getting fairly happy with this. It's got this thickness to it. So I'm going to cut the heat. Let me show you how it swirls with the bubbles not in there. It doesn't sound quite like a watery liquid anymore either. It has a... Do you hear that subtle sound? It's thick. It's thick. Thicker than water. I somewhat lost count, but I believe this is about 6 of those apple juice jugs worth. So, I mean, it is far less than maple syrup, which I know. I think generally a sugar maple or red maples will produce a 50-to-1 sugar to water ratio, and then this is about half that at 100-to-1. So you yield about half the amount of syrup. Something like that. Which for on the stove, just as a fun hobby, not a big deal. Still fun. Well, I'm going to put this in a jar, maybe let it cool down a little more, and put it in a jar and compare it to its friend. I was wanting to keep these batches separate just because this batch I think got a little darker, a little more scorched possibly, but that's looking similar, has a similar color to it, so I'll compare the flavors and then maybe I'll just end up combining them. So it's just all in one jar. But this might not even be as thick, so I might want to reduce that more, although I'm not too worried about it. I could keep it in the fridge. It's been out for about a week now, but maybe we can move it in the fridge. Alright, that's been the birch syrup cooking process. Maybe we'll finish with a clip of enjoying it. Last weekend I enjoyed it on a salad because I had heard it compared to balsamic vinegar, and I would say it is very nice on a little salad. So maybe we'll have to do that again. My dad we're gonna, I think, enjoy some salmon this weekend, so I could see this being wonderful on some salmon grilled up. Get it extra caramelized and a little citrus maybe? Who knows? I think orange would go well with this. What do you think? It's looking dark and luscious. Wow. What a beautiful thing.